Hello and welcome to Galaxy TV's Primetime News. My name is Iribami Salako. We begin with headlines. President Tinubu receives Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China and commends partnership between Nigeria and China. Plus, on the news, explosion rocks popular Boniyadi livestock market in Gujba local government area of Yobe State. Details of those and more coming your way shortly. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. President Bola Tinubu has received the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, Chen Xiaodong, and commended the partnership between Nigeria and China. The President welcomed the support of China for a more prominent position for Nigeria in the G20, UN Security Council, and the Intergovernmental Organization of Developing Economies, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS. President Tinubu commended President Xi Jinping for consistently strengthening relations with Nigeria and Africa. The President also thanked President Xi Jinping for an invitation to visit China. In his remarks, the Chinese Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs said he was in Nigeria to brief the President on the invitation extended by Xi Jinping and the itinerary of the state visit. Xiaodong commended the President for his strategic vision, playing leading roles in ECOWAS and Africa. Xiaodong also congratulated President Tinubu on his re-election as chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. The federal government has reviewed plans to issue $500 million in domestic foreign currency denominated bonds this August 2024. This was reviewed at a quarterly press briefing in Abuja by the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, focused on reviewing the first half of 2024. Correspondent Kolojo completes the story.
The press conference focused on reviewing the first half of the year with the theme Economic Recovery and Growth, Progress and Prospects 2024. In a major move to strengthen the economy, government intends to issue dollar-denominated bonds to attract foreign savings and boost the nation's financial stability.
There is, as I said, importation taking place on a temporary basis, not in a way that would now discourage, incentivize, and hurt local domestic producers. No, it's raw materials for them to make into finished goods, to make into food, to make into feed. So focus is on the agricultural sector in a fight. It's a war to get food prices down.
While emphasizing the strategic importance of bond issuance, the minister clarified that the government has no immediate plans, to raise euro bonds, with the future decision depending on the success of the domestic bond issuance.
Those resources, they include the resources of Nigerians in diaspora, Africans in diaspora. We need to attract those savings, and indeed we need to attract the savings of Nigerians that keep their money abroad. We have an open exchange rate system. It's not illegal. And so we have an issuance of a dollar-denominated security, not depending on the financial architecture of the Western world, not depending on the kind of architecture that you use to raise Eurobonds. We're using the Nigerian financial system, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the banking system, the investment bankers to issue $500 million in the first instance that will be available and will attract foreign currency held by Nigerians abroad and anybody else who buys in to the macroeconomic reform efforts of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
This initiative represents a pivotal step in the country's economic strategy, potentially setting the stage for the future financial and economic policies. From Abuja, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
Now, to legislative matters, a bill seeking to repeal the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) Act 2007 came under public hearing at the Senate. The bill provides for the establishment of a national identity database, and the NIMC is charged with the responsibility for the maintenance of the national database, the registration of individuals, and the issuance of identity credentials. Correspondent Kulojo reports that the hearing was conducted by the Senate Committee on National Identity and National Population, chaired by Senator Abdul Ninge. The bill is designed to align with Data Protection Act and address limitations faced by the NIMC in administrative enforcement. Speaking during the public hearing, Director General and CEO of NIMC, Koka Odushote, emphasized the bill's potential to enhance operational efficiency and support the government's renewed hope agenda.
For Nigerian citizens, one of the other things that we have been able to do successfully with the limitations is we have been able to use the NIN for processing of student loans. It's helped us be able to identify who these people are and for us to know that these applications are real people applying and not just robots online.
In his opening remarks, Senator Ninge, Identity and National Population, underscored the importance of the bill. The bill was sponsored by Deputy Senate President Senator Jibril Barau.
We need to see the bill that will bring about enhancement of the national security, improve governance and service delivery, reduce identity fraud and theft, promote economic development, and comply with the international standards and best practice in identity management, especially in most of the developing and developed world.
The federal government has begun developing national agri-commodity value addition guidelines to support small and medium enterprises and agribusiness in achieving agriculture value chain development and commodity industrialization. Ambassador Noura Remi, Permanent Secretary, Commodities and Exports Department, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, gave the assurance at the Stakeholders Forum held in Ikeja. Remi was represented by the Director of Commodities and Exports Department in the Ministry, Kaurai Remiya. He said that the guidelines would serve as essential tools to effectively support SMEs and agribusinesses. According to him, the guideline have the target of achieving 32% contribution by agricultural commodities to Nigeria's gross domestic product and reducing post-harvest losses to a single digit by 2027. He said that the initiative was part of President Bola Tinubu's administration's economic reform agenda aimed at promoting a holistic approach for improvement in the nation's agricultural commodity value addition. Remy said that the ministry was committed to providing policy support and an enabling environment to reposition the nation's agri-commodity subsector towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production. Nigeria is currently grappling with food scarcity. This perilous situation has been deepening over recent years, driven by a combination of factors, which has now placed a large number of Nigerians at high risk of food insecurity. Galaxy's Nenwara Numazaka gives more details in this report.
The food security situation in Nigeria has been crucial, with the United Nations predicting that over 82 million Nigerians, which is about 64% of the country's population, may go hungry by 2030. The prediction came in the wake of the persistent hike in food prices in the country. Also, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's food inflation rate hit a record high of 40.66% in May 2024, surpassing the previous month's 40.53% increase, which represents the largest year-on-year increase in food prices since records began in 1996.
Prices of commodities that is higher is not into our making because of the fuel subsidy that was being removed. We believe that the high price of the commodities is affecting every sector. And we felt farmers too are not happy. and look at the exchange rate too, because some of our needs are being imported. Train trips, most of it are being imported.
The way that the government has gone about this has left much to be desired. There's a whole lot more that we need to be doing in terms of responding very specifically to the problems that have been created over the last maybe 5-10 years that has now been made worse by policy positions of this administration in the last year. You know, we need to see a lot more action to bring the spiraling inflation under control.
To begin to look at permanent solutions, in my view, if we have been doing this in the last 6-7 months, we won't be where we are. And the solution is for us to produce. We cannot rely on reservoir that we have emptied twice. We emptied late last year, we emptied early this year. So if we are going to fill up those places, then we have to import. And we know what our foreign exchange situation is like. So it is better to let the people know we will have some problem for a few months until we are able to produce.
With the constant increase in food items in the market, a large number of individuals struggle to keep up with the increase on a day-to-day basis. Meanwhile, the government has been called upon to put in more effective policies that will bring an end to the constant food crisis.
What we are experiencing now, especially on the high rate of commodities, the products. But we believe with time, all what we are clamoring for the government is to increase the ratio of which being allocated to a Greek. If that one is being, there are increments there. Because all along we've been seeing 2% ratio of the total budget, which is not favorable, it's not called for. But if there is, at least, if we should be able to have minimum of 10%, 8 to 10% of the total allocation of the federal budget being given to the agric.
That what we need to see is thinking outside the box. We've got to get creative with our thinking. We've got to get, we've got to look for local solutions to a problem that is very local. Throwing MPC policy instruments at this problem will not work because, you know, those instruments work in other parts of the world because they don't have the kind of problems that are driving the inflation we're seeing, right? Insecurity is a major problem. Infrastructure problems and deficits is a huge problem as well.
Nedwarangi Mazaka, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
An explosion has rocked the popular Boni Yadi livestock market in Gujba local government area of Yobe State. The source of the explosion is suspected to be a planted improvised explosive device and went off around 12:30 p.m., thereby injuring a girl. An eyewitness through telephone conversation confirmed the incident, and the spokesman of the Sector 2 Joint Task Force Operation Adinkai, Captain Mohammed Shehu, also confirmed the incident, saying another IED planted in the market was discovered and successfully detonated by the army. He further explained that only one victim of the explosion is currently receiving treatment at one of the health facilities in Boni Yadi. He stressed the incident was a planted IED and not a suicide bombing incident. Boni Yadi, located 54 kilometers away from Damaturu, the state capital, was the worst-hit local government area in Yobe State under the control of the Boko Haram insurgents for 2 years. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice cautioned security agents in the country against detaining suspects beyond time allowed by law. Details of that coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818 6666 669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. Now to other stories. The federal government has been charged to subsidize housing payment and also create an installment payment arrangement for the citizens. Convener of the Africa International Housing Conference, Festus Adebayo, gave the charge at the closing ceremony of the conference held in Abuja. Adebayo emphasized that the arrangement will avail citizens privilege to get roof over their heads in terms of shelter and welfareism. He stated that Nigerians are losing hope in the area of home ownership due to the economic situation in the country, most especially with inflation and increase in interest rate. The convener further urged government to make mortgage work in Nigeria by reviewing the prices and also build houses with local materials so as to make other developers follow.
Government should subsidize it, and after subsidizing it, create an instrumental payment arrangement in such a way that people who cannot afford housing will have the privilege to have roof on their head. With the situation in Nigeria today, with what inflation is causing, with interest rates, the hope of common men in Nigeria is going down, and they are losing hope in the area of home ownership.
Stakeholders in the production sector have called on captains of industries to enhance and promote production intelligence to create employment-enabling environment in the country. At the opening session of the Marketplace Stakeholders Africa Conference held in Abuja on Friday, they emphasized the need to tackle all economic challenges in the marketplace for easy identification across the globe. Manasseh Dongan, one of the market consultants who was at the event, highlighted some of the challenges that affect the economy in Africa, to include intra-African trade issues, politicized economic programs, and policies minimizing human capacity, uneducated production sense, among others. Dongan further urged Nigerian youth to utilize their production intelligence to identify opportunities hidden in passive movements and also professionally trade during inherent abilities such as skill, knowledge and experience in targeted identified market or platform.
The primary purpose of Marketplace Stakeholder Africa is to be able to bring captains of industries together in under one atmosphere to be able to educate them about the next blueprint that is about to happen in Africa through production intelligence. We discovered that so much things have been left cultivated in Africa. So many business opportunities are yet to be fully maximized. So this conference is an avenue organized by I and my team to be able to help captains of industry see into perspective the opportunities that are within the African soil and how to be able to maximize it to the fullest.
There seems to be an end in sight of the crisis wrecking the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, as the post chairman of the association has resumed into office after the judgment of the Industrial Court in Abuja. The court, presided by Justice Oyewumi Oyebiola, had on July 9, 2024, voided the purported suspension of Bola Audu and subsequently ordered his return as president of ASCSN to when his tenure will be completed. In the judgment delivered virtually, Justice Oyebiola held that the suspension of Bola Audu by the Central Working Committee of the ASCSN and the subsequent expulsion by the National Working Committee was unlawful, illegal, null and void, and of no effect whatsoever. Correspondent Koliojo reports that the president, while speaking with journalists at the association secretariat in Abuja, expressed dismay at the attitude of the police towards the enforcement of the court judgment. Bola Audu, who declared he has resumed duty as the president of the association in company of other members of the association, declared that he has no intention of witch hunt. Anyone insisted that the rule of law must be upheld.
We are tired of that. I have come to resume. And I want every member of association to know that the president you voted for, Comrade Bola Audu Innocent, has resumed. I have resumed, and I have resumed fully. Please, I have nothing against anybody, even the cabal, I don't have anything against them. Most of them are retired, they are not members of the union, they should go home and rest. Whatever they have stolen, let them go with it. We don't care. But we need to move our union forward. This is the 21st century.
I personally advise Tom Ethim to read, as he has retired and he has PhD. He has PhD in labor relations and international studies. That is, you find one of the universities around us that are in their need of his service in research and in teaching, instead of causing trouble in Nigeria.
Here, we are law-abiding people, and we respect the law, and we respect the police. The police are there for us, and we are for them. Now, they are supposed to provide the services that are required. And anybody that go against the judgment of a court is in contempt. Yes. The police is supposed to intervene and arrest those people that are in contempt.
Now to the story teased earlier. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Olusokomi Fagbemi, has cautioned security agents in the country against detaining suspects beyond the time allowed by law. Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigeria, specifically admonished security agents to always abide by provisions of Section 35 of the 1999 Constitution in relation to the rights of suspects in their custody. The AGF, who spoke in Abuja at the yearly lecture of the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Oriwa, warned that any security agent found detaining suspects beyond the constitutionally allowed period would be severely sanctioned. His lecture revolved around governance, security and human rights, which he claimed to be momentous as it addresses some of the most pressing issues facing the country today. He said that law enforcement agents must do due diligence before arresting anyone, adding the situations where people are languishing in detention cells beyond the time allowed under the Constitution or by order of the courts will no longer be tolerated, and appropriate sanctions shall be meted out to those found guilty of contravening the laws of the land. According to him, the government of President Bola Tinubu will not condone any reprehensible action, and as the chief law officer of the country, it will ensure no one tramples on the right of another person. The menace of courtism and court-related crimes have been on a steady increase in Nigeria, spanning decades with little or no solution to address the remote cause. Although some states like Edo, Anambra, Delta, to mention but a few, have passed bills into law banning secret society or associations, but Nigerians believe that there is still work to be done. In this report, our correspondent Dele Fason takes a look at the menace of courtism and likely solutions. The report.
Power, security, wealth, lack of parental care, and peer groups have been described as the major causes of courtism. Although Section 318, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution prohibits secret association, whether registered or not, as well as the use of secret signs. A security expert and a vigilante group leader, while profiling solutions, said the federal government must do more in sensitizing the people on the dangers of cultism.
Cultism for me is a kind of a social vice that has been rooted in the system. And if there's going to be any way that the federal government will stop that, there must be proper orientation. Of course, we'll be actually beating on this proper orientation over time, but it hasn't been well rooted in the heart of the people. If we could make the people understand that, look, cultism has no benefit, this is one way to go. So there should be in-depth orientation about the downside of cultism.
The youth them, if they get what they keep them busy, and not see person when go practice cultism or go carry out from school, higher institution, because now what the youth they do for school. But today now cultism of today, who person when finish school finish, go come house, call the practice court. But I see say if the person get what they keep them busy when they do job there for her. Man when don't get wife and children, because they see the practice court.
Recently, over 150 persons were killed in Edo State alone, with suspects arrested in court-related killings as youth takes protest to the state governor, Godwin Osbaseki, who expressed concern over court-related killings.
The incidence of cultism is still very high, but what is particularly worrisome about cultism is the related homicide that go with cultist activities. To date, since January, we have lost over 150 people.
We have come together to say no to cultism. Some of us here we are represented one time in our youthful days, in our school days as heads. So we have taken this charge that if we have passed that route, we must teach them that the route is against killing, the route is against violence, the route is against all social vices.
Meanwhile, if the report by the United Nations on Organized Crimes that 5,822 lives has been lost across 31 states and the FCT over court-related killings between 2006 till date, with the southern part of Nigeria leading, is anything to go by, then the federal government must ensure stricter penalties while finding a lasting solution to the menace of cultism in Nigeria. From Delta State, Daily Fason reporting for Galaxy News.
And to other stories, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it will take necessary measures to bring the nation's rising inflation under control. The Central Bank Governor, Yemi Cardoso, stated this when he met the Governor of Benue State, Ayasin Talia, while reassuring of the steps taken to address the economic challenges. Cardoso, who says the monetary policy has been moderating aggregate demand as rising food and energy costs continue to exert upward pressure on price development. Cardoso noted that prevalent insecurity in food production areas and high cost of transportation of farm produce are also contributing to the rise in food inflation in the country. The CBN governor said there was need to check such activities in order to address the food supply deficit in Nigeria market and moderate food prices. Governor Ayasin Talia, Benue State, solicited the support of the Central Bank of Nigeria in streamlining the state's economy to engender economic growth, employment and development of vital infrastructure and technology, as well as enhance financial inclusion. The governor requested the CBN to facilitate partnership with development finance institutions to fund large-scale projects such as agricultural mechanization, industrial parks, special economic zones, and major infrastructure projects to spur economic development across the state. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's take a short break. When we come back, the news continues. We are glad to have you back. Now to other stories. The former commander of the Operation Delta Save, Rear Admiral Suleiman Apochi, has expressed shock and disappointment over the level of oil theft and losses in the country's oil sector. Making presentation before the House of Representatives Special Committee on Oil Theft and Losses, he revealed that between 2016 to 19, he witnessed widespread illegality, which he described as a bombshell. Akpochi's testimony at the hearing put the DSS on the spot, with lawmakers grilling Abdullahi Saliu, a deputy director in the Operations Department of DSS, with questions. Akpochi stated that he was appalled that oil theft continued despite his effort as commander, attributing it to the involvement of government officials and other individuals in the criminal activity.
This exercise, this act of theft, is in a triangle. The triangle, there are a triangle. All of us, of course, we went to primary or secondary school. There are three sides. One side of this triangle, you said I shouldn't mention, but in this case, is NNPC. The second side is the security agencies, and the third leg of the triangle are the criminals and the sponsors. These three legs must stand for the illegality to travail.
Earlier, Data Base, Director Technical of NATI, highlighted factors responsible for oil theft, noting that Nigeria loses significant revenue to these sophisticated crimes.
Crude theft is due to sabotage, economic sabotage. Some issues also related to aging facilities also affect crude losses, because most of the facilities are old and affect that. We've also been asked questions to provide records from various domestic actors of what involved in crude oil theft.
Honorable Alexander Gua, chairman of the Special Committee on Crude Oil Theft and Losses, said the committee found the security operatives lack sufficient firepower and weapons to effectively combat armed crude oil thieves.
Let's put it this way, by way of clarification, for you and for others going forward. Yes, sir. When you are here engaging the Parliament on a matter like this, which has got a lot to do with investigation, yes, sir, the committee is trying to, as much as possible, steer clear. We are exercising our constitutional responsibility, and we do have what we call the power to exercise a quasi-judicial duty.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoko, on Friday said that intelligence at the disposal of the force has revealed that foreign mercenaries are involved in the proposed nationwide protest. Addressing journalists in Abuja, Egbetoko urged all Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group. He urged organizers to protest to register locations and seek permission, emphasizing the need for orderly demonstrations. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the police bars announced the deployment of officers and men to protect lives and property, citing the country's history of violent protests with devastating consequences, including the NSAS protests, which exacerbated crime rates and insecurity.
As we have credible intelligence on foreign mercenaries' involvement in this planned protest, the Nigerian police urge all Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group. While we alert citizens to the sinister motives of certain groups planning to wreak havoc, it has become clear that even a peaceful protest at this time may be ill-timed.
Egbetoko also revealed that the police have received intelligence reports indicating that foreign mercenaries have been hired to infiltrate and hijack the planned nationwide protest against economic hardship with the intention of causing destruction and chaos in the country. He assured that measures are in place to apprehend hoodlums attempting to disguise themselves as protesters. The Inspector General of Police reiterated the police commitment to securing peaceful protests, stating that maintaining law and order during the demonstrations would not be a challenge if protesters engaged in peaceful conduct.
Who intend to protest, there are guidelines for them to follow. Once they follow this guideline, we are going to have it peaceful. So my appeal to Nigerians is to remain law-abiding. Those who insist that they must come out to protest, please cooperate with the police. The police will be there with you and protect you.
As fear and apprehension continue to rise ahead of the planned nationwide protest, Nigerians have been advised to engage in peaceful and constructive dialogue with those at the helms of affairs to address pressing concerns. Some concerned youth loyal to President Bola Tinubu under the auspices of Asiwaju movement at a news conference in Abuja warned against the implications of a planned nationwide protest. The national convener of the body, Comrade Adejorin Tai Manuel, while addressing the media in Abuja on Friday, emphasized the need for unity and cooperation to overcome economic hardship, a global issue. He warned against protests driven by selfish interests, political sentiments, and tribal bigotry, which could be hijacked by vested interests seeking to cause chaos, saying Nigerians should continue to stand with the government to build a better Nigeria. The group acknowledged the economic consequences of the protest, including harm to businesses and the fragile economy, and therefore recommended a new approach of let's protect, not protest. They recognize economic hardship as a global phenomenon and encourage refusal to participate in the protest driven by negative motivations.
The wave of regimentation across the country has raised concerns about the impact on the safety of the public, on our economic stability, and social cohesion. We have witnessed how protests can quickly turn violent, resulting in the damage of properties, injury to bodies, and even loss of life. Essential services such as healthcare, education, and transportation are usually disrupted, causing inconvenience to citizens and straining our already limited resources.
Kaduna Concerned Group have distanced themselves from planned nationwide protests. They encourage youth to embrace entrepreneurship to develop themselves instead of staying idle. The Northern Youth Group say their members would not be part of the activities that may threaten the peace and stability of Nigeria as a country. The group stated their position on the protest on Friday while addressing newsmen at Ariwa House, Kaduna. The group rejected the nationwide protest.
I want to use this medium to express our withdrawal from the nationwide plan protest of 4th to 10 August 2024. Not because we are happy with the government policies, but due to the fact that the mission behind the said protest is ambiguous.
The group called on federal government to listen to the plight of the masses and tackle insurgency, economic hardship, and high cost of PMS.
The government did not do the needful. We equally wish to use this medium to appeal to the president to listen to the plight of the nation and handle the issues of insecurity, hardship, and fuel price hike with seriousness.
The Nigeria Medical Association (NMA) has condemned the evasion of security personnel at the health sensitization event for mothers, children, and pregnant women at the Iliuzu Primary Health Care Center in Obio Akwa local government area of Rivers State. NMA chairman in Rivers State, Dr. A.B. Robinson, expressed his displeasure in Port Harcourt, describing the incident as highly insensitive and unacceptable behavior by the security forces. Dr. Robinson emphasized that health facilities are places where essential and critical care is provided, and such evasions pose serious threat to the lives of patients and attendees of the immunization program.
The Nigeria Medical Association condemns in stronger terms
the event that took place on the 24th of July 2024 at the Modern Primary Health Center, Eliozu, where the Ministry of Health and the Primary Health Care Management Board was trying to flag off the maternal child immunization program. And we were told by reliable sources that that program was disrupted by the invasion of armed police officers, where tear gas and other instruments were used to chase away pregnant women and children from that vicinity.
He called on Inspector General of Police Kayode Betuko and other stakeholders in the security sector to investigate the incident and ensure that those responsible are held accountable.
That the Nigerian police owe everyone an explanation, and we are calling on the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies to investigate that action properly and report that to the fore, and the perpetrators of that act to be brought to book. How will someone go and drive away pregnant women and tear gas them in a health facility, even in periods of war? Health facilities are being secure because we give essential services to people.
Now we move to the international desk for more news.
Hello and welcome to the foreign news. Huge fast-moving wildfires have destroyed up to half of the historic Canadian town of Jasper, officials say, as firefighters try to save as many buildings as possible. The entire street have been leveled by the blaze in Alberta province, with video showing smoldering rubble where homes once stood. Cooling temperatures brought some relief, but park authorities said the fires were still out of control and further warm weather was forecast. Meanwhile, there are hundreds of active blazes in neighboring British Columbia, while fires are burning in western U.S. states, including California and Utah. While no deaths have been reported, some 20,000 tourists and 5,000 residents have fled the mountainous area in Alberta province, a hugely popular tourist spot. Some 36,000 hectares of land has so far been affected. Jasper National Park reported late on Thursday night local time, adding that neighboring communities were not at risk. It said that efforts to map the fires have been complicated by factors including strong winds, the extreme nature of fire, and the smoke. As the ship started sinking rapidly into the sea, 9 crew members on board a cargo ship in Taiwan released they did not have enough time to reach their life raft. They decided to jump off the boat into sea, holding on to each other in groups. On Thursday afternoon, Taiwan's Coast Guard announced that one of the groups, made up of 4 Myanmar nationals, had been found. The captain of the ship was late on Friday found dead, and 4 others are still missing. They had all been working on the Tanzania-flagged Fushun, which capsized after Typhoon Gemi made landfall on the island. The vessel capsized at about 4:45 local time on Thursday. The 9 Miami nationals said they decided to separate into 2 groups, one of 5 and another of 4. All of them were wearing life jackets, but the survivors said they had watched as 3 of their colleagues in the other group had their jackets swept away by high waves. Research and rescue personnel said they had later found the body of the ship's captain at about 6:55 on Friday. The other 4 in his group are still missing. 95 Libyan nationals have been arrested on suspicion of receiving training at an illegal military camp in South Africa, police said. Officers raided the farm near White River, a small town in the northern province of Mpumalanga, on Friday. They said they found military tents, licensed firearms and other military equipment. Cannabis and cocaine were also found at the camp, the police said. Officers conducted the raid after receiving intelligence on Wednesday. According to National Police spokesperson Atlenda Mati said the Libyans allegedly misrepresented themselves on their visa application by saying they would be training as security guards. The camp in question was initially registered as security training site, the police said, but it appears to have been converted. The 95 Libyan nationals have been taken into custody and are being questioned by the relevant authorities. The police have not said who the detainees might have been receiving military training from. And still on foreign news, one of the world's most powerful drug lords, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, leader of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel has been arrested by U.S. federal agents in El Paso, Texas. Zambada, 76, founded the criminal organization with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who is currently jailed in the U.S. Arrested with Zambada on Thursday was Guzman's son, Joaquin Guzman Lopez, said the Justice Department. In February, Zambada was charged by U.S. prosecutors with a conspiracy to make and distribute fentanyl, a drug more powerful than heroin that has been blamed for the U.S. opioid crisis. Details of the arrest of the two men remain unclear, but it appears they flew into the United States. Officials said Zambada was lured onto a private plane under false pretense by Guzman Lopez. Zambada believed the plane would fly south in Mexico, but instead it flew north and landed in El Paso. Guzman Lopez surrendered to U.S. authorities and turned on Zambada because he blamed Mayo for the capture of his father. Linles added. In a written statement, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the two men led one of the most violent and powerful drug trafficking organizations in the world. Barack Obama has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democratic presidential nominee, ending days of speculation over whether he would support her. Former President Obama and his ex-First Lady Michelle Obama said in a joint statement that they believe Ms. Harris has the vision, the character, and the strength that this critical moment demands. Obama was reportedly among more than 100 prominent Democrats Ms. Harris spoke to after President Joe Biden announced last Sunday he was dropping out of the race. In a statement at the time, Obama praised Biden's exit but stopped short of endorsing Ms. Harris. The U.S. Vice President has already secured the support of a majority of Democratic delegates, setting her on course to become the official nominee of the party convention in August. The Obamas said in Friday's statement that they could not be more thrilled to endorse Ms. Harris. They vowed to do everything they can to elect her. Finally, on foreign news, Sri Lanka will hold a presidential election on September 21st. The Election Commission says setting a date for a vote expected to determine the future of reforms in the country still struggling to emerge from its worst financial crisis in decades. Nominations for the election have been submitted on August 15, the Commission said on Friday. Incumbent Ranil became the first to register his candidacy on Friday, his office said. Ranil, who is 75 years of age, took office in July 2022 after widespread protests caused by the debilitating financial crisis forced his predecessor Gotabaya to flee the country and later resign. Parliament elected Ranil to serve out the rest of Rajapaksa's five-year term, which began in 2019. The election comes after a long period of political and economic upheaval. The country is going through a huge economic crisis, with people unable to afford basic essentials like food, medicine and fuel. Almost 17 million of Sri Lanka's 22 million people are eligible to vote. And that's all we have on the foreign news.
Coming your way next, entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Here is the full report. National Film and Video Censors Board, NFVCB, addresses the call for the ban of a controversial film by the notable actress Nancy Sime. It will be recalled that Sime was captured in a viral poster of a yet-to-be-released movie wearing a niqab and a hijab, a dress code for Muslim, in a rubber scene from the movie. The poster, however, provoked condemnation from many Muslims, including the Muslim rights concerns Murik, calling on the NFVCB to ban the movie, describing it as satanic. Reacting to the call for ban in a statement on Friday, the NFVCB noted that the film is still in production and has not been submitted for assessment. However, they have been able to reach the film producers and have taken steps to address concerns raised by the producers. The board restates that as a classification agency, they will not overlook any film or video works, including dramatized short constant skits that abuse, denigrate, or undermine religious, cultural, and ethnic Reacting to it, Nancy Esime via Instagram page shared new photos of herself along with some interesting captions. She noted how she's always out of the way and in a world without no drama or gossip, and is only focused on chasing her goals and money. She stated that she chose peace, as she further noted how she doesn't bother anybody, nor is she bothered by anybody. Social media influencers Ruth loses her almost 1 million followers X account hours after taking a job at the superstar singer Wizkid. It will be recalled that Ruth posted a photo of Sophia Lakija, Wizkid's ex-girlfriend, while mocking the singer for losing a gem with the perfect body. Well, Wizkid FC fans of the Ojuelegba singer may have taken matters into their hands by mass reporting the influencer's account. A quick check on Ruth's account confirms that the account has been bugged for violating X policies and rules. Nollywood actress Mitoria has thrown shade at some of her colleagues for rubbishing her effort. Taking to her Instagram page, she revealed that someone called her a YouTube star and her stubbornness made her take it with so much pride. Wumi noted how some of her colleagues are yet to conquer YouTube and are still floating in the box office world. She questioned if some of their colleagues already knew them first before they started rebranding themselves. Telling them to keep playing, she admonished them to run their race and stop looking for Bollywood. She ended the post by telling her fans to beware of those comments robbing people's effort. Finally, the personal assistant of Chioma Adeleke, Obi Franklin, takes a jab at Prince Bobo Ajudua, the ex-lawyer of the famous Afrobeat singer Davido. It will be recalled that some months ago, the singer and the lawyer separated after decades of being more than just business associates, but like a family. Another notable event was Prince Bobo's father, Fred Ajudua, who was arrested on allegations of forgery and land scam, but was later released on bail in Abuja. In a recent post via Instagram story, Obi Franklin indirectly criticized the singer's previous legal representative. The post, which has since been removed, detailed Obi's father's occupation as a high court judge while inquiring about Ajuda's father's name and area of expertise. And that'll be all on entertainment news today. Thank you for watching. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Bye for now.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Iriba Misalako. So have a great weekend.